We've got an amazing story. We're talking about something called foot golf. It is a ball that we kick, a round ball that we kick in the game as well. But we've got Deryn Knott explaining to us what it is and what's going on. Now, Deryn, the thing about foot golf, if you do use a soccer, well, some people will get stuck into me saying soccer ball, but we have to say soccer ball. We can't say it could be any football, so that we're going to be saying a soccer ball tonight. So it is a soccer ball, isn't it?
Yeah, typical size 5 soccer ball, and you kick it around a golf course, and we've got these oversized holes that about double the size of a standard soccer ball or football. And just like golf, you've got to get around the golf course in as few shots as possible.
And of course, I mean, this is a spin-off from the game itself. Was it old players who'd had enough and getting tackled or getting fallen down to the ground playing the game? They thought they could play something else. How was it invented?
Well, precisely the way you're saying.
Really?
I think it's really the origin was probably, you're at a training ground and you see the corner flag there after training's finished, and you test your mates who can get closest to the corner flag. And so it's just an evolution that takes place from there. Okay, let's see who's the most accurate. How about we might do it on a golf course, perhaps?
Gee.
See who can actually, kick a ball around a golf course in as few shots as possible. And that's what I like about the sport. You can't be told that the team, you're just in a good team. It's an individual sport where the scorecard rules as to who is the better player.
Gee, Carlos, have you had a go? You've had a go at this. You must have had a go with Deryn.
Yeah. Look, I had the privilege of going to many years ago. I think about 10 years ago, to Avalon Golf Course when they had the first round of foot golf in Sydney, at least, and that's where I met Leo Fernandez, the president of Foot Golf Australia back then. So I played about 3 times, and I think it's an amazing game because it combines all the skills that you need in shooting, and you put it all together and you get fit, camaraderie. It's the best of everything, and it's a good transition. If your body cannot play football anymore, you can still use your football-related skills to be able to challenge yourself, albeit on the golf course.
The best thing about it is, Deryn, I saw these guys driving the ball like a normal. I said, oh, my God, mate. How far do they drive the ball with their foot? It's like you're taking a corner, but you're taking a double, triple corner to get as further as you can. So what sort of training do you guys do?
Oh, well, we get out onto a football field, or often a cricket field, funnily enough, where the grass on a cricket pitch tends to be more similar to a golf course. And then we'll sort of do training exercises where we're kicking it like a goalkeeper, if you like, trying to get the maximum distance, maybe 50 or 60 metre on the fly, and try and get the roll to go 80, 90, or even sometimes 100 metres. And then you want to sort of start honing your skills on the golf course itself. You've got moguls, you've got bunkers, you've got water hazards as well. So that's when you really need to sort of consider the topography of the course, and it doesn't just come down to dead accuracy. Obviously that's important, and also your length's important, but what we often find for people who are playing for the first time, even professional players like Francesco Totti, who played in a race, who was having a round with us ahead of a professional tournament over in Sharjah last month. Even those professional World Cup winners don't kick as accurately as you might think. And so every football player that comes and plays foot golf goes, oh, I didn't realise I was that inaccurate, because if you kick a ball with a bit of curl, you're going to end up on the side of the fairway or in the rough or behind a tree. You've got to sort of really adjust for your natural curl, or kick it without curl entirely.
Straight kick, exactly. If you're gonna kick it left, if it curls, you're getting off the course. It's just like hitting the ball straight. It's the same idea. getting straight as much as you
Well,
can.
some players start it really right, but then you're dealing with trees. So you've got to take the risk that, hey, maybe I don't curl it as much this time and I end up in the trees. So that's another consideration. And that's, all part of it. And they're the lessons that new players learn, even professionals. And, we had a couple of World Cup winners there. We've had many players, professional players play foot golf. And some play in the tournaments now. Fabian Ayala played in the World Cup.
Yes.
There's many stars that you can come across when you're on the foot golf circuit.
Now, Carlos, you went to, as you said, 18 years ago and had a look at this. So what we're talking about is where the course is. So where is the course in Sydney? And we'll talk to Deryn in a minute about some other courses.
Well, when I play was at Avalon. I think Avalon is no longer there. Then my second time I play was at Bunwell Park with a mutual friend, Neil, and his son. And then I went to a function at Northbridge many, many years ago as well, where they were raising funds to go to the Morocco World Cup. Deryn, what was the World Cup?
We had a fundraiser for the Morocco World Cup in the lead up there at Northbridge, which has a really nice clubhouse there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the Northbridge course is very hilly and has these big ponds in the middle of it, so it's not particularly well suited to foot golf. So we tend to play in other places like Barnwell Park that are better suited to the game.
So let me just say, how long has it been in Australia now? How long? And there must be, when Carlos said 18 years ago, there must be.
Eight. I think it was 8 to 10.
8 to 10.
8 to 10 at Avalon, Deryn.
So Deryn, yes, tell us. Yes.
Yeah, so back in 2013, a bunch of Argentinians actually were coming over to Australia to live, and Leo, the gent that Carlos was talking about earlier, was one of those, and he became president of Foot Golf Australia and established it with these other Argentinian immigrants, and that was in 2013. And then they went and started their own first tournament in 2014. And this was just at the same time that it was developing and being established as an international sport over in Netherlands, which is considered the birthplace of foot golf. And then only a couple of years later, we had a big international tournament, 2016, at Jamboree Golf Club, where we had players from overseas coming and visiting. And even recently, at the end of last year, we had international players coming over for the Australian and New South Wales Opens.
Gee, so let me say, how many courses do you have in New South Wales at the moment? They're quite, or are they connected with a golf club themselves?
Yeah, so almost exclusively on existing golf courses. Some golf courses or some foot golf courses overseas don't have any golf members, and that's an amazing dream for Foot Golf Australia, but it's not really a likely outcome. But we play our best championship course is at Jamboree, and that's a world-class standard foot golf course, and so that's why we have international events there. And then we play a lot of social and Australian tour competitions for domestic players, and even beginners can join. Like we had a tournament today at Sylvania, and they may be at courses like Colonial out near Penrith, Sylvania down near the Sutherland Shire, and Mangrove Mountain up near the Central Coast. So there's a bunch of places where you can sort of join in depending on where you live.
So when I ask you the next question, is there team, like you said, there's also clubs and teams, team foot golf. Do they do that too?
Yeah, we do. It's primarily an individual sport, and then we tag on a team event to sort of mix it up a little bit. So today, for example, we had an 18-hole individual tournament, Australian individual tournament over 18 holes. We actually used handicaps as well, so players who have never played before can play against semi-professional and even professional players if you have professional players there. And it turned out that a player who hasn't played for 2 years won today because of their generous handicap. So he ended up winning by one shot against the three guys that are going over to the World Cup later this year.
So reckon he'll go to the World Cup too? Oh boy.
Yeah, I'll be going to the World Cup, and Ryan Paisley, who won the Australian Championship last year, he'll also be going, and my brother Deryn Knott, he'll be going as well. And then we have Christy Horton, who was the women's champion, and she'll be representing Australia in Mexico in June as well.
Carlos, this is absolutely amazing. I mean, it means it's a big sport then overseas. We don't have it as big here, Deryn, at all, do we? Carlos, do you know much about it yourself? Is it bigger here? It's bigger overseas, we know. But all these new sports coming to the country.
Foot golf is growing in popularity, and I believe that Melbourne has a beautiful foot golf course that you could go, Harry, and practice your skills.
I want to find out. Yes, I do.
Well, no, foot golf is growing in popularity, and I've been part of Deryn's journey for the last, I believe, 6 years at least. He's been a regular on my show once a month, and it's more options. It's also an inexpensive sport, in my view, because to play golf, you need golf clubs. That could be rather expensive.
Expensive, all right.
Foot golf, all you need is a pair of Dunlop volleys if you're really pressed, and a cheap ball from Kmart, and you could pay $20 with a couple of your mates and go and kick the ball around the golf course. So I think it's a inexpensive sport. It's a family sport where even a youngest child could toe bash a ball, where a young child cannot swing a golf club. So it's a sport for the family, and it's going to grow, as it is growing slowly, but, there's a lot of obstacles to overcome, like not knowing. Golf courses are reluctant to share, or I will say redraw the landscape because they fear a takeover. But perhaps Deryn could enlighten us about the reluctance of some of the golf courses to welcome these new Martians.
I can imagine.
Yeah, well, Harry, today we had some 12-year-olds playing. So the only thing preventing them from winning is having a handicap that was too tight for them to overcome. So they enjoyed it and engaged with each other. Often we get school groups that come along, and you can get 40, 60, 80 school kids coming and having a kick around, running around the course. So that's a revenue generator that can create that growth and, start to help golf clubs come around and say, hey, we've got a new generation of players or of eyeballs that can familiarise themselves with our course, and maybe they'll be a foot golfer for a long time, or perhaps they'll become a golfer. They become familiar with the course. So, but as Carlos was saying, there's often memberships in golf courses.
Yes.
So if they're paying their $1,000 a year, and they've got their $2,000 clubs, and they've got their everything else, then they don't necessarily want a bunch of kids running around the golf course. So as someone who's moving forward with foot golf in Australia, I want to get it so that we're using it at times where it's a low period for golfers, so that we're not intrusive, setting up the golf course in such a way that we're not interrupting golf courses and not crossing in front of golfers and that sort of thing. So with my experience as being a player, that's something that I can consider when designing the layout of a foot golf course on a golf course.
Now, I always get these crazy questions, and Carlos knows I get these crazy. Mate, this is a crazy question. When you said they go to you said under 12s and things, kids were there playing. What about if somebody says that at some, we'll call it a soccer club. I know they're going to get me after this when I said next door. Put it this way: you got the kids training there. The parents are what? You're just sitting down. The parents are just sitting down doing nothing, right? Next door, there's a little ground there with a little football golf circuit. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine a little club there, a junior club, and then you got the parents getting involved in a bit of exercise, getting around, doing a bit of golf Could that be an idea that could work in Sydney?
Well, not even just the parents. It can be the little kids who are playing as well.
Yes.
Anyone who's playing football, the best way to become good at football is by having as much touches of a football as possible.
Yes.
You juggle, you dribble, but you also need to, especially the development of the game in this day and age, you need to do long diagonal accurate passes to get in behind a defence. So, for example, I was a ball distributing centre half. So I'd receive the ball, I'd hit it out to the wingers or out to the wide midfielders, or I'd hit the feet of the striker in my team. And you need to be accurate for that. So the more that you repeat, the more that you execute, the better footballer you become. And similarly, when you're, as I was saying earlier in our conversation, when you get footballers coming onto the golf course, they kick a ball and they kick it like they do on a football field, and then they go, hey, that ended 20 metres left of where I was expecting it to go. And that's because they're not as accurate as they think they are, because on the football field, people are moving to where the ball goes rather than necessarily standing still and receiving the ball.
That's actually
the consequence to that is when you have a stationary target and you can hit that target and you get the absolute correct weight for it to go in the hole, that means that when you step back on the football field a week later or a couple of days later, you're like, oh, I can ping it out to that guy on the right wing or on the left wing, and it's just pinpoint. So I continue to play football now, and just since in the 10 years that I've been playing foot golf, my distribution is
unbelievable,
dramatically increased.
Yes.
But it's just a matter of, having a healthy outdoor sport, not to mention the fact that you're developing your skills. And especially in the off-season, you get this opportunity to stay in the game, touching the ball, work on some skills in a way where you're not going to get injured ahead of your next season. I think it's just a great combination and a variation to just hitting the soccer field every single day and doing the same drills with your coach. Get the team out onto the golf course, have a kick around for $10 or $15 or $20 each, depending on the quality of the course, and then we'll go back to training on Tuesday night, or we go and have a game. It's a team building thing. We get corporate days coming out where no one's ever touched a footballer before, and they come and have a kick around. So there's a whole bunch of people who can play it. It's an open church, as Carlos was saying. Anyone can come and kick a ball, and because you can use a handicap, a 12-year-old first-timer can come and play against the Australian champion, which is exactly what happened today.
Fantastic. Now, the thing I want to ask you is, when the course is being set up, is there specific demographics you've got to measure up to be able to make this course work? What's the difference between the holes? Because the holes are bigger. How is it set up? Are there officials that know how to set these courses up, or are they specially set up by some people?
Yeah, you're looking at the person who set them up. So
here's a Greg Norman of foot golf.
Okay, so you set up. So how do you get the? So I know when the golf ball, there's this special thing that goes down, it turns and it picks up the hole and it makes the hole. How do you do that? It's much bigger. How do you do that?
Yeah, well, we get the 50-centimetre hole, and then we sort of put a shovel around it, and then we dig straight down so that sleeve fits down into the grounds. And then, I was doing a demonstration at the Kiama show a couple of weeks ago. We went and dug a hole in the showground. We had 100 kids go and kick the ball at a flag and with the hole there. And then we went and filled it in and put the grass back on top when we were finished, and you couldn't even tell that we'd been there. But, groundkeepers don't want to do that. If you want to play foot golf on a course, you want to keep the holes there. You want kids to come for practice day or on sports day, or corporate events can go there to have a kick around, a few drinks, and maybe a barbecue afterwards. So it's open to all those people. If you can kick a ball, you can play foot golf.
That's amazing.
But yes,
The technical.
In that design, that's a consideration for me. So I might set it up for a social event, and then in other cases I might set the tees back a lot further back for a proper championship competition like we had today.
That was my question. Just then, you took it out. How far do you do this, and how far are the tees?
Well,
and
Harry, you have to go. There's a beautiful golf course in Melbourne that Deryn will tell you.
Yes,
because it's one of the top foot golf courses in Melbourne. Correct? That you play there.
Ainsbury. Ainsbury is a really beautiful course, and they have foot golf there. So, we've had a few national tournaments there. So it's a very high quality course. It's a very high quality golf course. You can go there for foot golf or golf, and it's a great place to try it out. But I think the question that you might be interested in, Harry, is the length of these holes. So, for example, a par 5 on a golf course might be 500 metres. In the case of foot golf, as a rule of thumb, they're going to be half the length.
Okay.
So 250 for a par 5 in the case of foot golf. Similarly, a par 3 on a golf course might be 150, 180 metres. We might be more like 100 metres or 90 metres, depending on whether there's hazards or bunkers or whatever. The more hazards they are, the shorter it can afford to be. If it's a wide open part of the golf course, we might have to make the hole longer to be challenging.
There's and Carlos knows this player who's really high up. It was a former NSL player, and he's got an amazing. He's playing golf, Carlos. You know Peter Catholis, don't you?
Yeah, I know. I told Peter Catholis to come and try out for foot golf, but he's too busy playing golf. But I want to ask Deryn about the process to qualify for the World Cup, because to represent your country at a World Cup, it is the ultimate recognition and of your effort. What was the process you have to go through? And the other 3 lucky Australian boys or men, and 3 plus Chris Kirsten going to the World Cup. How many players are going to the World Cup in Acapulco, Mexico?
Yeah, well, this time around it's 4 Australians. In the previous editions of the World Cup, it's been more like 14 players in Australia. So previously they've basically said for a World Cup we want 10 to 20 players per team, and we've got 30 or 40 nations that are coming along, so you might get 800 players or thereabouts. This time around, they're being a lot more judicious with the number of players to go, so it's going to be more like 500 players. But also, they wanted to reward those countries that have shown distinct growth. So countries like France that have a professional foot golf league where they play every week, and the standard is world class, they will get 40 plus players allocation to the World Cup. Whereas in Australia, because we have fewer players registered, then we only got 4 places. And so once it was determined that we only had 4 players, then we competed through the entire of last year, accumulating points to determine who was the Australian champion and runner-up in each of the divisions to determine who would go.
Yeah, the other point I want to make is, does FIFA get involved at any stage in this sort of a competition, foot golf? Have they ever said something like, at least if there's a World Cup, they should be doing something with foot golf as well? It's like sort of like have they ever contacted or done anything with you guys with foot golf in the world?
Yeah, well, there's 2 international bodies. There's FIFG, which is the foot golf equivalent of FIFA.
Yes.
And then there's another body called the Professional Foot Golf Tour. So in the case of the Professional Foot Golf Tour, they have an arrangement with Dubai, and Dubai has this sports week where they have pickleball, they have paddle, they have foot golf, amongst others. And one of the sponsors is FIFA Plus, which is the FIFA channel, streaming channel, television channel. And so then they put imagery from each of those sports onto FIFA Plus, and similar streaming channels. So that's the one existing relationship between FIFA and the Professional Foot Golf Tour. In the case of FIFG, there's no formal relationship, or even though FIFG is seen to be the more legitimate body, or the basically the PGA Tour compared to Live Golf, and Professional Foot Golf Tours more considered to be Live Golf, and by comparison, to try and use an analogy,
Carlos, that's amazing that FIFA are actually putting up on their FIFA Plus a streaming site. Gee, so that's amazing that they're actually taking the time to have a look at it as well. Wow. That's big.
Well, it is the FIFA Plus channel is an amazing discovery that you could be a real football hermit but never go out because you're watching football
all around the world.
Darren,
even myself, I spent last week just watching all of Australia's previous World Cup matches that have ever happened. Watching 1970s in Germany, all that sort of thing.
This is big overseas. It must be big.
And Darren, I believe that as a foot golf nation, we have won the Asian Cup some time ago. Tell us about that achievement.
Yeah, well, from 2016, where we had that international tournament, it sort of started building a bit of a groundswell in Australia of believing that we could actually see how far we were from the world standard. And so, we started to put a team together so we could compete in these international events. So that we didn't have much of a presence in the first World Cup in Argentina in 2016. But then in the 2018 Marrakesh World Cup, we were able to put a team of 14 players together. And then subsequently, shortly after that, the next year, we actually hosted the Asia Cup, and we won that in 2019, became the Asian champions. And so that is our greatest success as a foot golf nation, and Team Drop Bears, as we call ourselves, became Asian champions, which was a really exciting achievement for us.
There's a lot of things that you guys have done, won tournaments and everything, and I mean, this needs to get out a lot more, Carlos. This is really good fun. It sounds like great fun.
It is, and foot golf is slowly gaining a foothold in the landscape. And you're speaking to the captain of the Drop Bears as
Fantastic.
Well, which is a privilege to be chosen the captain, lead by example. And to me, it's a win-win situation. The only obstacle in progressing foot golf, it is reluctance of people to embrace change. Because once the golf clubs realise that we can cohabit with these Martians, it's a win-win for everyone, because it's extra money through the gate, extra money through the bistro, but his reluctance to change will be the biggest obstacle to Foot Golf Australia getting bigger and bigger.
The other thing I will ask you, I get these crazy things coming through my mind, and Carlos, and this is another beauty. Imagine having a whole field, and you've got the stadium around you, but that's the thing. You could use that game as a how can you use it? Use it as a game before
curtain raiser.
A curtain raiser, exactly.
Curtain raiser.
Have you ever thought of something? But the thing is, you got to be careful with these holes that you put in the ground, and then
you just wheeled them up. You just wheeled them along.
You could. Any idea of anything like that?
I have seen a video of one of those curtain raiser type of events where they pulled someone from a crowd and he had to kick the ball from the byline or the goal line, and then he made it stop right in the middle of the centre circle. It was just, and that one went viral. So I have seen that. So that's a little adaptation of that. But yeah, we'd be happy to get some VR like that. And, we're open to all ideas. But as Carlos was saying, there's so much in it. Like there's the ability to have a healthy sport outdoors. You're not going to get injured in the off season when you play foot golf, because you'll get your 10,000 steps in if you sort of beyond that age of having the physicality of football anymore, or you need to preserve yourself for doing your job during the week. So, and it gives these young kids touches on the ball and develops a skill set that is part and parcel and so important when you are playing the beautiful game.
Football. What a great training drill that would be, using foot golf for training for kids. The accuracy they would practice.
You could have the trifecta: football, futsal, foot golf. Imagine the super socceroos we will have.
Gee.
That's funny you mention futsal, because a lot of players that are good at futsal tend to adapt to foot golf faster than even professional footballers. And I think it's something to do with the heaviness of the ball, yes, and how their technique of hitting the ball straight, yes, and hard with the heavier ball. And obviously people who are attracted to futsal also tend to be quite skillful and have good touch as well. So I think that's another part of the reason why they adapt to the foot golf sport quite well as well.
Yeah, so Deryn, we're going to let you go. Thank you. And me and Carlos are going to be saying something a couple of minutes we're going to be talking about the Oceania Professional League, which is kicked off in Australia yesterday. Mate, thank you very much for joining us. We're going to have this on TV shortly and you'll be able to see it, definitely.
Such a pleasure to be here. Harry, thanks for having me on.
No worries. Thank
you.
And
good to see you again, Carlos.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bring back the trophy.
Yes, we want to get you back on the show if you win it, definitely, and see how it goes. Yes.
No, but before he goes,
we'll get him back on.
And we should get the other three musketeers.
Yes, exactly.
The four of them.
Why not? Exactly. All right, thank you, Deryn.
Yeah, I'd love to be a part of it.
Okay, thank you.
See you guys.
Always, thank you. So, Carlos, it's an amazing sport. Deryn's here. An amazing sport where people, they can start that sport, they can start something different. It's amazing. That's also. So let me just say one thing. Yesterday, Carlos, I was at the Oceania Professional League, and of course I saw the game between Auckland FC and South Melbourne. Boy, what a game that was! Cracker jack of a game where it was up and down. A-League players that were playing for Auckland City, and of course South Melbourne had their part of the former A-League players there too, mate. It was that goal that was scored yesterday by one of these Auckland City boys, and we were sitting in front of the officials. They came and sat in front of us. I said, "What's going on here? These guys look like big guys." We spoke to them as well, and he said, "What a great goal by, of course, by Auckland FC. My God!" And that was guy ran 3/4 of the field and scored a goal on his own. They couldn't keep up with him. A-League player, they said. That's what they said. And then South Melbourne scored in the last minute of the game, 1-1. You believe this? Gee, Carlos.
Yeah, look, the Oceania Professional League can only grow. Like the Australian Championship, first edition, it can only get better and better with the clubs. The other clubs, PNG, Solomon, Fiji, all the other clubs, it gives each club an incentive to grow and improve everything from the coaching ranks to infrastructure to everything. To me, it's a win-win for everyone. And also like the Australian Championship, it gives the opportunity for players and coaches to shine. And then shop window comes along, you might pick up a better contract. A lot of the A-League players have gone to Solomons, to Fiji. Krishna Singh used to Auckland. Is it Krishna Singh?
Roy Krishna?
Yeah, the New Zealand international, right?
Wellington Phoenix.
He went to Europe, came back. Now he's back in the Oceania Professional League
for Bulla FC. Yeah.
That's right. So to me, it's a win-win for everyone, and no one should be surprised at the quality of the football, Harry.
It's big quality.
Because the players are there. They just haven't had the opportunity to shine at that level because the opportunities have been limited.
And let me tell you, as we spoke to the officials yesterday in front of us, why don't you come and do stuff with us? They saw my accreditation. Yeah, come and do stuff. So we had to put in accreditation information today for them to give us a pass to go and do stuff. So watch for Football Less, guys, at the home of the Matildas on Tuesday, Carlos. We're actually going to be doing something down there. We've spoken to the media people and they're happy to do it. Let me tell you one thing about what the problem with this is, Carlos. No one has actually grabbed this with their hands wide open. No media in Australia. No one knows what's going on. It's sad. It's sad. The only biggest crowd that we saw was South Melbourne yesterday. That was it.
Well, the only reason that the media hasn't run with it, at least in New South Wales, is because there's no team from New South Wales.
That's the big problem.
You know, if it is, I'm sure that it has more traction in Victoria because the powerhouse of Victorian football is participating, South Melbourne Hellas.
That's right.
So there's no traction in New South Wales. There's no mention. Why?
Yes.
Because South Melbourne Football Club is from South Melbourne. It's from Melbourne.
Right. And so there, we're in there yesterday. We saw the game. It was a fantastic game. So we are now preparing for Tuesday at the home of the Matildas. 2 games there. Let's see what happens with everyone. Carlos, so there you go. And I'll be talking with the officials. They are not happy. I'm not going to mention. They're not happy. They're not happy at all. Very little exposure for them coming to Australia to play. That I can't believe it though. It's Football Victoria haven't done anything either.
Look, it is a learning curve for everyone, and I think that's how we have to sell it. It's a learning curve. Marketing has never been a forte in our game. I'm not sure how much marketing Football Victoria does of its NPL. Other than social media, there's some stuff on social media in New South Wales advertising the games, but marketing can be improved. And once there is a stock take on how successful this tournament has been, I'm sure that next year we will see a better product or run, including marketing, including more advertising, and we have to be clever with the advertising because it costs a lot of money to advertise in mainstream media. So there's an opportunity waiting for some young person doing journalism and social media at the local university to be given the task to flood the market with this product and put it on your CV.
Exactly, Carlos. So watch this space for the next few days, of course, down at the home of the Matilda, see what we're going to do there with the Oceania Professional League people. And so, Carlos, thank you tonight for coming on. Thank you for waiting that little bit longer because sometimes the gremlins hit sometimes.
Oh, good, Harry.
No worries,
I appreciate
guys.
the effort you're making.
Thanks,
Thank you,
guys.
Harry.
Thanks,
good
guys.
night, everyone.
See you very soon. Thank you.